Lululemon. For years, the brand held the athleisure market so tightly that rivals couldn't even compete. They charged $100 or more for a pair of leggings, and customers still lined up to buy them. But today, that iron grip has loosened. From a major product recall that embarrassed the company to a nearly $500 million tech disaster, a series of public missteps has chipped away at their dominance. In this video, we'll trace Lululemon's rapid rise, the strategic mistakes that followed, and the critical business lessons every founder can learn from their story. To see where the cracks began, we first need to understand the blueprint that turned a small startup in Vancouver into a global phenomenon. In 1998, founder Chip Wilson opened a modest design studio in Vancouver, a city already deep in health and wellness culture. Yoga was moving from a niche practice into the mainstream, and there was a growing demand for apparel that worked on the mat but still looked good at brunch. From the start, this was no ordinary store. The first Lululemon location didn't just sell clothes, it offered yoga classes and served as a community hub. Customers weren't just buying a product, they were being brought into a lifestyle. This built deep loyalty and made them receptive to the brand's premium prices. But what made those high prices stick was a product that was genuinely better. Lululemon's early focus on fabric innovation set it apart. Their signature four-way stretch material allowed for full mobility without sagging, while sweat-wicking finishes kept wearers comfortable. For customers used to cheap leggings that wore out quickly, Lululemon's quality was a clear upgrade and worth the investment. Satisfied buyers quickly became brand ambassadors. Word spread through yoga studios and running groups, amplified by a smart tactic, outfitting influential local instructors in free gear. Wearing Lululemon signaled that you were part of a growing aspirational culture and that peer-to-peer endorsement was more powerful than any ad campaign. The strategy delivered results, fast. By 2007, the company went public with a valuation of about $1.4 billion. In the years after, growth exploded, with revenue soaring from around $350 million in 2009 to over $3 billion a decade later. The brand had become synonymous with athleisure. On the surface, it looked like a perfect playbook. But building a reputation on being flawless sets a very high bar. And the higher that bar, the more damaging any misstep becomes. What happens when a brand defined by quality faces a failure that calls that very quality into question? In 2013, Lululemon found out. That year, a major quality control lapse forced the company to recall about 17% of its yoga pants because the fabric turned sheer when stretched. The issue hit their best-selling black Luon pants, a cornerstone product. The recall cost them an estimated $67 million in lost sales, but the real damage was to their credibility. For a business built on technical precision, this wasn't just a manufacturing mistake. It was a direct blow to the brand's core promise. Shoppers who once assumed Lululemon's quality was untouchable now had a reason to doubt it. The crisis got worse when founder Chip Wilson addressed the situation. In an interview, he remarked that some women's bodies just weren't suited for Lululemon's pants. The comment was widely seen as fat-shaming and drew swift backlash. For a company that marketed itself on empowerment, the disconnect was stark. Within months, Wilson stepped down as chairman, but the damage was done. The brand's once tight community felt betrayed. In the aftermath, leadership turnover became a recurring problem, with CEO changes signaling instability. While sales eventually recovered, the emotional bond with a portion of their customer base had frayed. Even years later, the see-through pants incident remained a shorthand for Lululemon's stumble from grace. It left the company exposed and set the stage for their next big gamble, one that would push the limits of what even a powerful brand could withstand. In 2020, Lululemon made one of the boldest and riskiest decisions in its history, paying $500 million to acquire Mirror, a wall-mounted smart screen for streaming at-home fitness classes. At the time, the pandemic had shuttered gyms and at-home fitness looked like the future. On paper, it seemed like a brilliant move to own not just the workout clothes but the workout itself. Management imagined a world where a loyal customer would start their day in Lululemon leggings, follow a workout on their Lululemon Mirror, and stay inside a Lululemon-branded fitness ecosystem. The problem? Lululemon is a clothing company, not a tech company. The move funneled capital and focus into expensive hardware and subscription services, areas far from Lululemon's proven strengths. The risk became painfully clear as the world reopened. Once people could go back to gyms, demand for pricey at-home fitness devices plummeted. The $1,500 mirror became a very hard sell. Sales fell far short of projections. Within 2 years, the company recorded a devastating $443 million impairment charge. effectively admitting that Mirror was worth only a fraction of what they had paid. The failed acquisition wasn't just a financial disaster, it was a massive distraction that took attention away from their core apparel business at the exact moment new competitors were flooding the market. While Lululemon was busy trying to sell smart mirrors, the athleisure world it had created was changing. The category was now crowded. Giants like Nike and Adidas pushed deeper into the space, while a new wave of direct-to-consumer brands like Alo, Vuori, and Fabletics were capturing the attention of younger shoppers. These newcomers felt fresh. Brands like Alo and Vuori leaned into a looser, streetwear-style aesthetic that was perfectly styled for TikTok and Instagram. Lululemon's identity, still heavily tied to its yoga studio roots, started to feel dated. At the same time, rising inflation made consumers rethink paying over $100 for leggings, when credible alternatives were now available everywhere. Fashion trends also shifted toward more relaxed silhouettes, baggy sweats, and wide-leg pants. Lululemon's product line, built around its signature tight leggings, began to feel out of step. These pressures started to show up in the numbers. Sales growth in North America, its most important market, slowed to a crawl. The brand had gone from being the undisputed leader of athleisure to just one of many options in a very crowded field. With momentum slowing at home, Lululemon's answer has been to look outward and build its future in new markets. The sharpest push is into Asia, where interest in premium activewear is growing fast. China, in particular, has become a key growth driver. The numbers tell the story. While North American sales have been flat, international sales have climbed over 30% year over year, with China alone jumping nearly 40% in a single quarter. This growth is being fueled by new stores and localized marketing that aims to give the brand a native feel. The upside of new markets is clear. It's a way to offset a saturated US market. But the risks are also clear. Geopolitical tensions, trade disputes, and fast-moving local competitors could all threaten this new strategy. Other American brands, like Starbucks, only succeeded in China after deeply localizing their products and marketing. Lululemon will have to do the same, recalibrating everything from fabric choices to ad campaigns to fit local tastes. This international expansion gives Lululemon a path forward, but it demands patience and a willingness to redefine the brand in entirely new contexts. Lululemon's journey offers 3 clear lessons. First, protect and constantly refresh your core product, the thing that made you famous in the first place. Second, resist chasing flashy trends that pull you away from your strengths, as the Mirror acquisition disaster showed. And third, when home field growth slows, international expansion can work, but only with deep respect for localization. While Lululemon's stock has fallen and its growth has slowed, it still has viable options. But the question remains, what should they do next? Refocus on apparel innovation? Double down on China? Or finally rework their premium pricing strategy? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.